welcome to the Momversation Club. I'm Claire Strong.
And I'm Christina Struckmeyer. We're two moms just like you, navigating the nitty-grittiness of modern motherhood and taking you along with us as we talk about the topics that nobody talks about.
Now today we've been inspired by the gals over at the I've Had It podcast and are bringing you our current gripes and one thing we love in an episode we're calling We've Had It, Motherhood Edition Part 2. Hi, Christina.
Hey, Claire. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I hear you've been watching the Great British Bake Off, have you? And you're trying to imitate all the different English accents.
I love when you bring the off the script into the script with our show. But yes, before we jumped in, we were talking about myself and my husband. We love the Great British Bake Off, and there's it's British, but it's all different parts. And so there's all these different accents and different personalities. And I've been trying to pick up the accents to bring into conversation with you to see if you'll notice. But I'm not very good at it, as evidenced by our conversation prior. The one I feel like I got the best is when they say judges, they always go, judges. The little zhuzh.
That's funny. Well, I'll have you know that although the UK is a very small island, we have a lot of different accents, especially in England. It's crazy. You can just drive like a couple of miles and the difference in accents is unbelievable. So yeah, you need to focus on the Yorkshire accent, which is my accent, and not so much on the Southern accent. But that's for a different conversation.
For sure. Oh my gosh. Well, we came to this episode very organically, didn't we, Claire? We are.
Yes, we did.
You and I have been talking because as we get into the show more and more, Claire and I, we talk during the show and we bring, the great topics to you guys, but we also talk throughout the week on WhatsApp, and there have been many of gripes lately about different things in our lives, and we thought, you know what, this would make a good show. Let's just bring all of our bitchin' over to the podcast and bring it to the masses,
So this is kind of like a moaning session. Like my mum would call this, I'm being a mini moaner. That's what we'd say in England. So this is just, we're going to be moaning here, but sometimes we just need to vent. And this is, it's maybe not the most uplifting episode you're ever going to listen to. Let's just say that right now. But sometimes we just need to do it. So
we'll include something that we love as well, because we're not all negative Nancy's over here.
No. There are some good things that have been going on. So we are going to end on a positive note. But yeah, we've been inspired by the I've Had It podcast, which I know you're a big fan of, aren't you?
Yeah, I love those ladies. I mean, sometimes I agree with their We've Had It and sometimes I don't, but I do always find it very entertaining. But yeah, I'm like thinking to myself, I sometimes will agree with theirs and I have things to add to that conversation as well. But before we start, Claire, before we get into it, I have to share something that came up onto my desk because my daughter's been doing a lot of arts and crafts, and it perfectly describes my mood going into this episode. So I'm just going to show the camera, and then for those who are not seeing us, I'll describe. But this is the portrait that my daughter brought home. And for those who can't see, it is a lot of different colored cotton balls, but the expression that is being put on is, a lot of squiggly confusion eyes and just a very straight smile, but not smile, like a straight face. It's giving, I'm here, but I'm not here. It's giving help. It's giving,
It's giving I've Had It vibes, frankly.
It's giving I've had it. So I was like, I have to bring this in.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, your daughter must have known we had this episode in the pipeline, because that is perfect. The perfect summary of today's topic.
For sure.
So I want you to start, okay? So hit me with your first I've Had It. What have you had it with this week, Christina?
Okay, so I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast, but I have recently, gone to a mainstream class with my daughter, And that change has come with me going into the regular pickup and drop off lines with mainstream kids versus, what used to be kind of a very calm back gate drop off situation for me with special ed. And so I have now entered the pickup line, drop off line etiquette. And, I'm now integrated into that space. And I have some freaking thoughts, okay? I have had it. I have had it with some of these parents who feel as if the laws of the pickup line, drop off line, do not apply to them. Okay.
How so?
There
What do
is,
they
so
do?
the way the line works for most places is that you get there and you park in the line or whatever, and then you wait your turn, and the line kind of continues to form down the road. And the earlier you get there, the closer to the front you get, right? So I leave early. I would say I'm in line about 15 minutes before school gets out. So I usually get 8-9 cars behind the first person. It's a decent spot. I don't need to be there first, but I don't want to be there last. It's a middle spot.
Yeah.
There is this lady, okay? And she is in a white SUV, okay? And she has a window cling. I'm going to call her out. I don't know her name, but she has a window
Do you
cling.
have a license plate? Do you have a license plate number?
I'm not going to share on the show, but I sure as shit do have a license plate. With
Oh my
Karen
God.
on her.
Well, don't get sued. Maybe don't share that right now.
I won't share that. But she has a license plate, not license plate. She has a window sticker on the back of her car, and it's a baby that's in camo, and it's holding a gun, and it says "baby on board." Okay, so clearly, right off the gate, we know we're dealing with this just definitely sane person who follows all the rules, like definitely. Anyways,
got it.
beginning of school, I see her pull in. She's kind of like merging into the line, and I'm like, she's probably running late. Like, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's running late and they have something to do afterwards, and she's trying to get in. People are letting her in, whatever. Second time, she gets into the pickup line, stops her car, gets out of the car, and like talks to a teacher and is like holding up the entirety of the line by getting out. And like, it's not an easy space to go around. So we're all just sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, let's go, let's go. And this is usually at pickup. So we're all like, all the parents are like, I just got off work, or I'm trying to get somewhere. They're in a rush.
Yeah.
Then this woman starts merging daily into the line as if there isn't this giant line of cars. She sees the line of like 20 cars and goes, no, I won't be doing that, and just like merges in. And then if you don't let her in, she finds a way to get in, right?
Yeah. So muscles her way in.
Fool me once, I'm like, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm a nice person. I'm reasonable. Fool me once. Second time, I was getting a little irritated, and I'm on the PTA because that's who I am, and I shared with the principal about this woman. And so by the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, I'm like irate, okay? I'm like, this woman, if I see her on the street, it's on sight. Like, I'm just like, I can't deal with her.
My God.
So she doesn't know this, but she's my nemesis. And the other day, this is I love it. I'll add a good happy bow ending with this. The other day she did it. And one of my friends who's on the PTA, I don't know if we're friends. She probably doesn't know we're friends, but we're friends. She comes over and she's a teacher, and she sees her do it, knocks on her window and says, no, you need to go all the way back to the line. You're not going to cut today. And the elation in my car. I was on the phone with my husband, and I was bitching about her. I was like, the lady's here again. She's doing it again. I was like talking to him. And as it was happening, I was like, yes, that's what you get. Get to the back of the line. I was like yelling in my car. So and my toddler repeats everything now. So she's going, yes.
That's hilarious. So Karma caught up on it, but I want to know if she's done it again.
I don't know. That was 2 days ago. So today is Friday. We're recording on a Friday. I will report back. But that's my gripe, man. It's like the rules are not there exclusively for everyone else but you, ma'am. Like, if you are a parent, follow the pickup rules. Follow them.
Yeah.
Do you
Well, listen.
have you ever had that
Yes.
happen where you have pickup line situations?
Oh, well, my I've had it is very, very similar, actually.
Oh, I
So
can't
I'm
wait.
going to
Okay, you get into
continue
it. Get
with
into it.
yes, this. But this is also to do with school pickup, but high school version, which is even worse. Like it's 10 times worse than it was in elementary school or middle school. So I rock up at my daughter's high school to pick her up because she's not driving yet. And here's the thing, you've got maybe half the school, like the kids that are driving. And so these
Oh my God,
kids,
Claire, I forgot. The kids are driving too.
it's outrageous. They look like they're 11 and they are, listen to me, this is another part of my I've had it. Not only are they being brats and they're being rude and they're honking a horn at me, they're honking their horn at me. Okay. And I'm like, excuse you? Absolutely not. I'm trying to like mind my P's and Q's so I
Of
don't,
course.
throw an
Of
F bomb
course.
at them. But I'm like, absolutely not. And, they're trying to cut in front of me. It's outrageous. And then the other thing is, which just, I mean, that's annoying in itself, having teenagers who've been driving 3 weeks be rude and, uncourteous to me, who's been driving 20 years or whatever it is, more than 20 years. But on top of that, what makes it even worse is that these spoilt brats are driving around in cars that are nicer than my car. I am dealing with 15-year-olds in Cybertrucks. They're driving bloody Cybertrucks, like 120 grand cars. This is what I'm dealing with, Christina.
Oh,
So
that
not
seems
only are they in front of me, honking their horns, God knows what planet the parents are on, thinking it's like appropriate or a good idea to let their kids drive these like crazy expensive cars. But I'm being cut up by kids in Porsches, Land Rovers, Audis, Mercedes, Cybertrucks, for God's sake. Everyone has a Tesla. And then there's me and I love my car, my Toyota hybrid. But there's me, and I'm being like bossed around by these brats. And then
oh.
and then to make it even more obnoxious, one of the kids that looks like they're about 13 and who drives a Cybertruck has got these really huge obnoxious flags hanging out of his car. The whole thing just sends me to the moon. I want to kill somebody, but I am aware that I'm an adult and they're all kids, so I have
They're
to keep my
children.
calm. That drives me crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
I feel like that should be illegal for children to have nice cars right away, because
It's
everybody should go
outrageous.
through that like period where you have a junker and you have to rough it out until you can afford a nice car. Like that should
Listen, I
happen
had
for
to
everyone.
buy, yeah, I mean, my first car, I had to buy my dad's old Fiat Punto. He didn't even give it to me. It was this little Fiat Punto. And I'm sure the engine exploded or something went on it. There was like a fault on these Fiat Puntos. And I found out about 6 months later when I was driving along to my part-time job and the thing basically blew up. I had to like pull to the side of the road. But I had to buy that bloody thing. I wasn't given it. And it was a kind of a, sorry, Dad, it was kind of a piece of junk. I think he overcharged me for it, if we're being honest.
I have gripes.
I, yeah, I say to the girls every single day when I'm doing this, going through this ordeal of picking up my eldest from high school, girls, even if I had the money, just an FYI, I would never, ever, ever buy you any of these cars that we're looking at right now. I don't know what lesson the parents are trying to teach them, but all that says to me is, you don't have to work for anything because mummy and daddy are going to bail you out with all this, money we have. And so it just sends me to the moon. So I'm very rarely in a calm mental state after I've done pickup at my daughter's high school.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, obviously, we don't like want to parent shame, but it's also like, what are you thinking giving these really nice vehicles to these
I just
children that
figure,
are learning?
listen,
They're still in the stage of like making mistakes. I mean, my first car, girl, I had a Ford Tempo that was probably this little old bitty lady's car until she died or something. Maybe she died in the car, who knows? But it was like not styling, okay? And I
yeah,
rode that thing into the ground. I remember
yeah,
like going on back roads that I should not have been on because we were going to bonfires in the early 2000s, and like there were so many things I did to that car where it's like thank God it was a junker, because if I was driving like a Porsche or a Lamborghini, I would have really messed it up. And I mean, that's the thing, is your first car should be that car that you get in your first wreck in, or you hit the
I
stop sign or
agree.
the bumper or whatever.
Yes. Can you imagine like the anxiety of scratching a Cybertruck? It's just ridiculous.
Well, they
And
probably don't have that,
obviously,
Claire, because they didn't work for it. They were given it.
oh,
They don't have that feeling
of
of like,
course.
oh, I better not scratch this car because,
This
it's been
God, it
hard
costs like
earned.
120 grand. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And obviously, we're
Ugh.
not into parent shaming here on the Momversation Club, but that is one thing that I have like very little empathy or tolerance with, when rich parents spend ridiculous amounts of money on their teenagers' cars, partly because, I mean, I kind of like a Tesla, but
Okay, so the truth comes
my,
out. Like, there's a jealousy
yeah, I mean,
situation.
okay, I might be a bit of bitterness, but still, I make the point to my
I don't
girls,
know about all that. I don't want to sound like a lady who lives in the farm and like yells like the government's trying to get us, but those Teslas freak me out. Like, all of the new technology coming out freaks me out.
really,
I don't know if you saw,
yeah,
they have robots, and I'm like, has nobody
yes, yeah,
seen the
yeah.
2004 Will Smith movie I, Robot? Because I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. Okay, like
Oh, is that the one
I
with the
don't.
dog?
No,
Is
I
that the
don't
one
know.
with
It's
the
the
dog?
one where they like show. Oh yeah, yeah. I, Robot's the one with the
Yeah,
dog.
yeah, well, I remember that because at the time I had a German Shepherd that looked like that dog, and didn't the dog die or something? I remember.
I think I might be confusing Will Smith movies. He does a lot of movies where he like is at the end of the world or something awful has
Yes,
happened.
or
So it
doom
could
and
be a
gloom.
different
Yeah.
one. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, a dog did die at some point in one of those movies.
Oh God. Well, that's that. I remember stuff like that. You see, I
I think
can't
it might
remember
have
the
been a zombie
script or whatever.
movie.
But if there's
I
a
don't
dog in
know.
there, I'll remember the dog.
We're getting
Okay,
off
so
track.
have you?
Okay.
Yeah, no, we digress. But I want to know: do you have another I've had it? Because I've actually got another one that I'd like to share. But
Oh
why
shit,
don't you go
Claire. You're like,
next?
I'm locked and loaded.
Oh, I'm like,
I
yeah.
kind of want to hear yours. I do have one more, but I want to hear yours because I want to know what's making you tick.
Okay. So, for any dance mums out there, you'll feel my pain. It's now Nutcracker season.
Oh
Now, first of
no.
all, let me just clarify before I go any further. I am a former ballet dancer. I did the Nutcracker. This is my bag. So, if any mom should be into their kids doing ballet, it's me. However, what seems a good idea every year just kind of transpires into a little bit of a logistical nightmare every single year,
Yeah.
because it's not just a Nook. Oh yes, yes, I'd love for them to be the Nutcracker. Oh, marvelous! They've auditioned and they've got these wonderful parts. That's great. Okay, so then strap in, because now they're rehearsing, God knows how many times a week, all weekend, all at different times. One's there, one's finishing, one needs to go, one's finishing. So now that's my weekend totally accounted for. I'm literally, thank God the studio is 5 minutes from the house. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd be in a pretty, wild state mentally. So I am literally spending my entire Saturday and Sunday toing and froing from the studio. And then, of course, they're hungry or they haven't brought a snack, and then they need money. They need to go to Starbucks across the street. I can't just even drop them off. I'm like, still on call.
You're like a
And
personal assistant to
oh, I'm the
two
personal
teens.
assistant. And of course, the times, it's not like they're there for the same amount of time together. Of course, it needs to be more complicated than that. And then one will have an hour and a half break, for goodness sake, between their rehearsals. So they're not going to sit at the studio. They want to come home. So then I've got to go and get them to bring them back and take the other one. Anyway, so that's what my weekends look like right now. But it doesn't
Mm.
stop there, because then it's like $1,000 for them to be in the Nutcracker. $1,000. Okay, just let
A
that sink in.
thousand?
1,000 for them both to be in the
Is it
Nutcracker.
like an
Okay, that's
additional cost, or is that like, do you do
oh,
ballet year round, or?
no. This is an additional cost. So this is in addition to God knows how much we pay every month for their lessons.
Oh my
Now,
god.
don't get me wrong. I love their studio. I love the owner. Her and I are good friends.
Of
They're
course.
wonderful there. It's just that everything's so bloody expensive here. And so, yeah, so on top of their regular tuition that I pay every month, which basically, is, well, I won't disclose the amount, but it's ridiculous. But then the privilege for them being in the Nutcracker is an additional 1,000, and that covers costumes and extra tuition apparently. But then there's more. Then obviously they're using their point shoes more. So the point shoes need replacing. My youngest, who's got really like strong arched feet, she takes after her mum. She is like killing her point shoes every few weeks because she's using them so much because of the goddamn nutcracker. And guess how much these point shoes are, Christina? Well over $100. Well over. So by the time I walked out the point shoe place, we're talking at $200 later because then they need the, they sew the ribbons for me because I haven't got time to do that crap. So they sew the ribbons, so that's another 30, and then she needs more lamb's wool or God knows what. So by the time we've done all of that, you're looking at $200.
Oh my God,
that's
Claire.
It's ridiculous. That's my life between now.
So your gripe right now is I've had it with the time and cost commitment of giving my children these nutcracker memories.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then to make it worse, to rub salt into the wound, half the time they don't want to go to the bloody auditions or rehearsals because it's on a Sunday or a Saturday and it's interrupting their friend time. So I'm like, are you kidding me? You will go to that rehearsal. Like, I am literally going bankrupt to have you in the Nutcracker. So yeah, I've had it with the Nutcracker, even though, yes, I'm sure, I'm going to have all these wonderful memories looking back and I'll have forgotten all the negatives. But right now, I am in Nutcracker season, and any mum listening to this who is in there with me will empathize with my plight.
I feel like there's a lot of moms that are going to empathize with your plight because I am watching it from afar with you and also my sister-in-law. Her children, both of them, are dancers as well, and they do the Nutcracker every year. And she's got a similar thing. She like lives in her car. She's like, go in here. Her studio's not right there. She has to like drive to the studio. And she's constantly back and forth. And it's like on a one-way road and it's a whole thing. And I'm like, man, what I am gathering is if my children have any rhythm, I just discourage it. I go, you're a horrible dancer.
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible. You should do something like just I don't know, karate. But no, I have not.
I would say not karate because I know someone whose kids do karate and they travel all over the world.
Okay, maybe not karate.
So maybe
one thing I will say, I love a low commitment sport. And so now what we're doing with Stella is horseback riding. And she's not going to be a competitive horseback rider. She just likes to go and learn how to ride a horse, learn how to take care of a horse. There is no extra on that, which is lovely. Yeah. And I'm going to encourage that as long as possible to discourage this Nutcracker situation you're currently in.
Yeah, although one word of warning, I rode since being about 3 and I had horses. Yes, that's very true. And I didn't necessarily do it competitively either. But then I wanted a horse. So then
that is a thing that we are thinking might happen. And we have a barn and space. And
let me tell you this. Yes, let me tell you this. I feel really bad about this, honestly, because I love horses and I grew up riding. But I haven't actively encouraged my girls to ride because I know A, the cost, and B, the commitment, because they're going to want a horse, because I couldn't leave it as just going riding once a week. So by the time I was about 10, I had ponies on loan. So we didn't actually buy them, but we had them for like 2 years and I'd outgrow it and I'd get another one. And so we had all the upkeep though, we being my mum, dad and I.
Oh.
So we were paying for all the upkeep and we were there twice a day sorting the horse out. And then when I was working, I bought my own horse and that was the whole thing. So yeah, so don't be fooled.
It sounds like there's this like pipeline for everything that your kid does where it gets costly, it gets more time intensive.
And then the best thing is, listen to this. This is what really makes me laugh out loud. People will ask me, oh, so do your kids do any sports? And I'll say, oh, they dance. And they're like, oh, and do they do anything else? I want to slap their faces. No, they don't. They don't do anything else because this bloody thing takes up 5 days a week and costs me goodness knows how many thousands of dollars. So no, they don't do any other sports. Thank you. And please don't put any other thoughts in their heads. It's going to be no. Unless they drop down, so then they can do something else. But yes. So anyway, I know I felt like that was a good therapeutic unloading session.
Do you feel better?
But I do feel better. Okay. But I also think that we need to shift tack now and actually feel a bit of gratitude. So, what are you loving right
Well,
now.
here's the deal is my
Mm-hmm.
I love it is actually connected
Mm-hmm.
to my I don't like that. My I've had it. And so
Oh.
let me get into it for those
Mm-hmm.
who aren't familiar. We recently did a social media post who if you are a social media follower, which if you aren't, follow us. We're at Momversation Club on every platform. But we did a post about this 17 diapers scenario that happened recently.
Oh yes,
And
yeah.
it started out as a negative and it has since turned into a positive. So it's kind of like I've had it with some of this, but also I love this other part of it. So we had the situation online, the royal we as mothers online. There was a woman and she was postpartum 3 weeks. So for those who are listening, we're all moms. We remember what that was like 3 weeks postpartum. I mean, most of us are still bleeding. We're like, healing from different things. We're not
Oh
even
yeah.
human at the moment. We're just like in a fog of breast milk and all the things. And so this woman, she is a content creator on TikTok, and she thought it would be really relatable to talk about postpartum and how right now her house is kind of messy. And she thought, well, I wonder how many dirty diapers are kind of strewn about the house. Let's take a journey together, you and I, the content creator and the audience, of how many we collect. And she shows all the dirty diapers kind of strewn about our house. And there was 17 dirty diapers. And after that happened, what was supposed to be this like relatable postpartum, hey, look, things are not all the way put together, I'm lifting the veil, turned into this giant mom shaming situation where in the comments of that video, there were so many messages of how disgusting she was, how dirty her house was, what kind of mother she was, just negative, visceral like comments. And then there's all these response videos where they would take her video and then someone would be critiquing her and talking about their own postpartum experience and how they would never, ever, ever have done that and had 17 dirty diapers strewn about. And, same, like when I was postpartum, I didn't have dirty diapers everywhere. I didn't buy one of those diaper genie things, but I did throw them away for the most part. One or two might have gotten loose, but it wasn't 17. But there was this giant movement of like hate towards this woman. And what was shitty was that most of the hate was women that were moms. Like other moms hating on this mom. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really shitty. And
that's
I'm sure she's reading all these. I mean, she has since talked about it, but she's reading all these comments. She's seeing all this stuff. People are online. I've had it. That part of this that I've had it with is the online dogpiling of someone. When one person's having a bad time online, everyone jumps on that person. And that person is a person on the other side of that keyboard. Like, no matter what, there is another person reading and seeing everything you're posting. And no matter how righteous you feel in your feelings and how you might have done things, it doesn't negate the fact that there's another person. And whenever I'm online, I go, would I say this to a person? Like, if this person
yeah.
were
That's
standing in
always
front
the
of
litmus
me.
test. Yes, I totally agree. That's the litmus test. Would you say that thing to their face? And if not, then maybe don't say it online.
Exactly. And thinking about, I don't know, when I was reading those comments, my first thought was, yeah, I also think that that's kind of crazy that you'd have 17 diapers. But like, I don't know your life. I don't know how hard postpartum's been for her, or how many children she has outside of that one, or what if she doesn't have any help around. Like, there are a lot of factors that would go into something like that happening. And it's not my place to judge her. And so I was really upset
She
about
could
that.
also be suffering postpartum depression.
Exactly. We don't know what these people are going through. And you can't even pretend to know. Because if you've gone through postpartum depression, it's just your experience and not her experience, which could look different. So, all that to say, that was shitty. But what's happened since is the good side of the internet has gotten a hold of this woman. And other
Yeah.
moms who want to uplift other moms have decided to take that negative and turn it into a positive. And so now people are sharing, I might not have had 17 diapers, but here is what my 17 diapers was. And they're sharing maybe a veiled kind of behind the scene look of what their postpartum looked like. And we shared ours on social media. I shared my experience. I might not have had 17 diapers, but man, I cried a lot when I was postpartum. I had a lot of anxiety and depression, and I felt really unsafe about it. And it got a lot of likes and shares and people relating to it. And you can go and find even more videos of this movement that has come from something so ugly and turned into, I think, kind of what we're all about here at the Momversation Club, which is saying, hey, I might not mother exactly like you, but man, can I stand with you? And you're seen and you're observed here. Like we can feel what you're feeling because we've all gone through this collective motherhood experience.
I love that because you brought that to my attention because I'd missed the initial fallout, and then when I had a look at it myself, I felt really bad for this girl. And like you say, you don't know what her support network is, and you
No.
don't know how she's doing mentally. And so I'm so glad that the good side of social media turned out, and that mums were actually supporting her in the end. And I loved what we did. Thank you for sharing your
Yeah.
raw side of postpartum as well, because it helps, and we know this because of how much engagement we got with that reel, and it's just so that's great. So that was a really nasty one, and that's turned into something quite beautiful, which is lovely.
Yeah, I love it when other moms can pick up other moms. And I think we need to catch ourselves. It's super easy to go into that place of like, this is the way I do it, so this is the way you need to do it. And like feel very strongly about certain opinions in motherhood. I mean, hell, we just did it a little bit ago with the car situation. But when you catch
Hmm.
it, try to reroute. For me, it usually comes from a place of insecurity. I found myself being like, oh, look at that mom. She is making everything homemade. Like, and every ingredient is from like the source of the like elixir of this, and like, she's very like conscious, and it's because
Yeah.
I feel a little bit insecure about how much chicken nuggets my kids are eating. You know what I mean? And so I think that if we can just check ourselves and reroute it, we can probably start changing the way we are, and hopefully, as our kids become mothers, they're kinder.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, so I was toying with two things that I'm loving this week. One was something really kind of unemotional and practical. My robot Hoover, my replacement just arrived
Dusty?
because my old one broke. Dusty. Dusty, well, Dusty's replacement, so it's Dusty Mark II. In fact, I actually now have two Dustys. One is still called Dusty. He's the replacement, the original Dusty. The second one is his sister, who is bigger and better, and she's called Fluffy. So I
For
actually have
those who
one
are not in the
upstairs
know,
and
who
one
haven't watched a
downstairs.
lot of our videos, that is a reference to an episode we did a few weeks back where we talked about things we're loving right now.
Yes. And so again, I would need to mention the robot vacuums. By the way, these are not crazy expensive ones. These are like very affordable, but I'm telling you, they have saved my life because I am not one of these mums who has the time or energy to be vacuuming the house every day. I just don't have it. It's just not in my DNA. I don't
Yeah.
do a great job of it. So I am loving, loving, loving Fluffy, who is the new addition to the family, and that's Dusty's elder sister because she's bigger. So
Okay.
so that was on a very practical
Well,
level,
we have to
but
update our Amazon marketplace because we
oh,
have
we will.
Dusty. And for those who don't know, in
Dusty.
our link in our bio of almost every platform we're on, you can go and get our Amazon storefront, sponsored,
Yeah,
and and you can see the things that we love to use. And Dusty's in there, but we do not have Fluffy. So let's get on that.
Dusty's great, but Fluffy, and I would recommend Dusty 100%, but Fluffy is even, I mean, she is the bomb. She also mops. She can
Oh
mop as well.
shit!
It's a Hoover.
Amazing.
Now, I've not figured out the mop. So here's the thing. I've not figured out the mopping element yet. So it can mop, but I've just not used that yet. But yes, she can also wash your floors. So we are definitely going to have to link to that one.
For
But
sure.
just quickly, I want to mention one other thing that I'm absolutely loving. So after this show, I am driving to San Diego Airport to pick up my sister-in-law, who I have not seen in person for 7 years. 7 years. Even though we speak on WhatsApp every day, I have not seen her in person for all of that time. And so I am loving the fact that I am going to be seeing her in person, and we're going to have this lovely kind of friendship rekindled. And I mean, it's great that we can keep in touch on things like WhatsApp, and obviously you can video call and all of that. And that's great, but there's nothing
Yeah.
like being in person. And I'm really looking forward to just hanging out with her, and having another mum who's also my really good friend, just being there for support. So yes, I'm loving that, and I'm sure I'll post a little bit on that as well.
Oh, that sounds so fun. I love it when people in my life who are long distance friendships come and actually stay inside. It's like you try to soak up as much as you can with them while they're there and do as much fun things as you can. And I don't know about you, but my long distance friends, we talk so much that when we get in person, we don't have anything to talk about. So we just do fun things.
Yay, I know. And so we haven't got anything like major plan. We're not going to do anything grand, but just, going to grab coffee. She's just going, I mean, I'm
Sure.
still working and stuff, so I'm not taking the entire, she's here for 2 weeks. I'm not taking the
Take it to
entire
the
2 weeks off.
beach and
2 weeks, yeah. She's just going to hang out. Her girls are a similar age to my girls, so the cousins are going to get together. And actually, my husband's working away quite a lot while she's over here, which actually has worked out really well because it's going to be literally like girl time in the house. So I cannot
oh,
wait. So I am loving that, being reunited with my bestie.
I love that. Well, I'll end my I love it with also a similar situation of getting away or having some fun. I am going to be going to the Taylor Swift concert next
Oh,
weekend.
how exciting! And
I
for anyone who doesn't know, Christina she is such a Swiftie, aren't you?
I am a huge Swiftie, and I've been a Swiftie since the first album. Like I have risen and ridden the entirety of her career. There were times where it was not popular to be a Swiftie, but I was there. I was there. I had the
Yay!
CDs to prove it because I'm old. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I didn't think that it was going to be possible for me because I tried, like many Swifties, tried to get in and do the shows during the first round of the US tour, and it was impossible. And the resale prices were crazy. But an opportunity came about where it was really affordable for me to go. And I'm going with a good friend of mine. And I can't deal with it. Like, I'm almost in shock. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God. And it's also really cool because I'm going in an airplane by myself and meeting her
Oh,
there.
wow. Your kids.
So, like,
Yay.
it's kind of like a mom vacation because when you're in an
It is. That is what it
airplane,
is.
many people are like, oh, I don't like to do blah, blah. Like people are smashed in like sardines, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I could plug my AirPods in and watch a movie and have my own snacks, and no
Right.
one's asking anything of me. Oh my God.
Oh, it's so
Like the
cute for
concert's great.
you.
I'm gonna
Yay.
freak out, obviously. Like we're gonna have a lot of
Mhm.
excitement, but I'm also really excited about the travel time and the hotel room and the time
Yes.
away to kind of rejuvenate.
Oh, so you should. Oh, that's just got me thinking what I wouldn't give to have a couple of nights in a hotel. Kind of almost by myself.
I
Or
know.
maybe with a hubby, but I don't know. I kind of like the like whole girl idea, frankly. Just being with friends.
Yeah, or even honestly, and I don't know if this is just my personality type, but I also love being alone. I just really
Yeah, I
like
know.
to
I
be by myself.
agree.
And
Yeah, I
that doesn't happen
listen.
as a mom anymore, like at all. Like you
It
too, like you
doesn't.
teens, you're
It
never
does
alone.
not.
No.
It's crazy. I'm still at the stage, even though I have teenagers, I am on the toilet and they're like, coming into the bathroom. Mum, can I? I'm like, can give me a second here, please. I'm on the toilet, darling. I'll speak to you in a minute. And then they'll literally take 3 steps back and carry the conversation on, but they're just outside the door. I'm like, oh my
So it doesn't
God, it's
stop.
like when you were 3.
Oh my gosh, Claire, because I'm thinking to myself, like I have a toddler right now, and if I shut the
Yeah,
door, it is the worst thing
yeah,
that's ever happened. She goes underneath
yeah.
the little crevice
Oh,
and is like, "Mama, let me in, Mama!" And I'm like, "I'm gonna be out in just a second. I'm gonna be out in just a second. I'll be right back." And I'm thinking to myself, when she gets older, this will not be happening as much. Like she will not come in here when I'm going to the bathroom. And you're telling me, you teen girls.
especially if they're wanting to order something off Amazon and they need to like check if it's okay, or just kind of like butter you up to tell you that they're about to place an Amazon order. It's usually to
Fun.
do with that because they want something and they need it that second. So they
Got
can't
it.
possibly give you 2 minutes. So you've got all that to look forward to.
Oh, I love it.
But listen, our listeners, I would love to hear from you. What have you just had it with? What has just absolutely got your goat? Tell us about that. And also, let's balance it out so we're not all thoroughly depressed
For
and
sure.
angry. What is going well this week for you? What are you loving in your life? It could be something practical. It could be a TV show. Whatever it is, let's share because it's so much fun when we share together. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Momversation Club.
And if you've enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach even more moms.
Yeah, it really does. And we hope today's episode has helped you to feel more seen and less alone in motherhood. Until next time, bye for now.